The Patriots will move on from wide receiver Stefon Diggs at the start of the league new year per NFL.com. Hello and welcome to the 224th edition of ATL Prime Sports. I'm Jurjevich alongside my fabulous producer Wayne Ridenauer in wonderful Memphis, Tennessee. You can follow the show at ATL Prime Sports on Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube, and of course Apple and Spotify. And if you like the content, scroll on over to that like button, give it a little click, hit that bell button, give it a little ding so you're notified when our latest content drops. And as always, please leave a review on Apple or Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. You can follow us personally at JJGetYouOne for my Twitter, at RWY Jr. for Wayne, at Corder Todd for TC Todd Corder, who is traveling to Charlotte tonight to kind of scout out some new homes. And at LG for real, though, for Larry Gardner, who is your PA voice for the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets tonight versus Cal. It's senior night. Let's go Jackets. Wayne, how you doing, buddy?
Man, I tell you, I'm doing pretty good. But I tell you, somebody who's doing great is Tyler Reddick. You know, I keep bringing up the NASCAR stuff, but 3 in a row is a historic event for any NASCAR start. And if you've checked out any of our shorts, which are now available, you would have seen a little bit of a take on that, final lap in the checkered flag. Speaking of shorts, I went down to Mike in the ATL Prime Sports loading dock and was telling him about the shorts. And he asked me what sizes they came in. And I'm like, that's not those kind of shorts. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing splendid. Not as well as the return the Kansas City Chiefs received from the Los Angeles Rams, though. Kansas City traded cornerback Trent McDuffie to the Rams for 4 picks, a 2026 first, 5th, and 6th round pick, and a 2027 third-round pick. So they got a haul in return. They'll definitely be able to replace him. The Rams got an all-pro, and the Chiefs get picks to rebuild at that position and many more. I think it's a great move for each team. I wonder what the Falcons would trade to get 3 picks extra in the 2026 draft. Wayne, what's on tap for today's show? Jurjevich Profar is so far gone. And then we're talking about some college hoops. How far can the Georgia Bulldogs go in this NCAA tournament? And our way too early Final Four. Let's get into it. We'll start things off with Jurjevich Profar strikes again, testing positive for exogenous testosterone. Unbelievable. Synthetic formula increases your testosterone, levels out the performance. Just crazy stuff. But he tested positive for the testosterone. This time, the ban is set for 162 games. Blink your eyes at that one. What does this mean for the Braves moving forward in 2026? Wayne, this one hurt as a Braves fan. As someone in the media, you just go, what does this guy do? But they have to fill the gap now. 162 game suspension will be most likely upheld unless the appeals are overturning this suspension. But it doesn't happen very often. It's only happened less than a handful of times or so. Though with this absence comes around $18 million in cap space money or salary money, whatever you want to call it. $15 million for his initial salary. $3 million because the Braves were over the tax threshold. So they got a little leeway because they were big spenders, so they got a little bit more money. What does that mean? So who comes in here and plays left field and DHs on the occasion, or vice versa, DHs and plays left field on the occasion? Andrew McCutchen's out there. Could slide right in, play on a contending team. He hasn't played on many of those, so I'm sure he'd love to hear that. Tommy Pham's out there. Jason Hayward, reuniting with Jason Hayward could very easily be right up the Braves' alley. He's a veteran guy. He's won a world championship, started his career here. Be cool to see him hit his last home run here. That would be pretty cool. So Jason Hayward's one of those options. Max Kepler, another one of those options. Those are some of the available outfielders. I know Jason Hayward and Kepler, they'd have to flip over to left field, but I think that's an easy transition, and especially when you're mostly going to be DHing and platooning at that spot till Sean Murphy gets back, of course. Then that way you'll have your double catcher system, and bada bing, bada boom. This may not hurt the Braves as much. And it's in something else to think about. And again, it frees up a little space. So the outfielders I mentioned, you could probably get them done in a couple $1 million deals, and that leaves you with a little bit of room to sign a frontline pitcher. Nestor Cortez, Lucas Giolito, Patrick Corbin. There's a few starting guys that are still out there. Haven't quite signed that deal yet. So there's are players that make you think, hey, could this be a blessing in disguise? Could it be?
Yeah, well, you certainly give somebody else a chance to show what they've got for the time being. I don't know much about the rules of the process on something like this, but how much is he allowed to do while he's on the suspension? Should it be upheld?
Nada. Okay. Nothing. So he's already out. And kind of outside. As far as it's all about appeals and trying to get back. But he is under contract for one more year, so that's another question you're going to have to ask. Does he come back next year? Brandon Gardner was on the play-by-play voice on Braves Vision, was on 680 The Fan today, and he talked about his opinion. He doesn't think he will be back next year, and I share the same sentiment. I don't think you can go out and rely on this guy to stay clean from the testosterone another time. So I don't think I think his days in a Braves uniform are done, but I do think with the talent he has, I think someone's going to re-sign him eventually. So we'll see there. But this could be a blessing in disguise because, again, you go get Andrew McCutchen, you go get Giolito. That makes this team much better today than it was before this news broke. So this could be a blessing in disguise if Alex Anthopoulos makes that move and gets two guys in here that can fill that gap. And just it maybe it's a blessing in disguise. We'll see. But what it means to the team, it means he let his teammates, the fans, the organization, everyone down from top to bottom. He let everybody down. Braves local media asked, hey, did you do anything in the offseason to possibly avoid this mix-up? Because last year he said it was a mix-up. Remember? He said, something got in there. I didn't realize it won't happen again. Well, it happened again. Twice in a year it happened again. So, again, you let your teammates, the fans, the organization down. The team and fans, they welcomed him back last year. It was no booing. I went to a couple of the games. Whenever he stepped up to the plate, no booing in the audience. Just simply, hey, let's play ball. Let's put it behind us and move forward. So now he does it again for a different drug this time. It's just unforgivable. You can't do this again. So the question does have to be asked, what do you do in 27 when the ban is when everything's done? So according to Jeff Passan, the suspension will start Friday. And again, unless the appeals process is overturned, he will not be a Brave until at least 2027 and maybe never again. I do think he'll have another shot to play. He's still a little young, still talented, had a pretty good year with the Padres a couple seasons ago. But, boy, this was a huge loss and bad news for the Braves. But, look, if you're the Braves, you probably just want this season to get underway. You've had the injuries. You've had this news. It's just nuts. You just want to start the season, and it can't go as bad as it did last year to start. It just can't go as bad as it was last year with 0-7. So we'll see, but that's where the Braves are right now, in limbo after the news of Jurickson Profar, who is so far gone. All right, Wayne, any final thoughts on Jurickson Profar and his PED suspension?
No, but as far as PEDs go, there are some people who consider Gatorade a performance-enhancing substance. So, some things I guess they just accept and others they don't.
Yeah, I know, right? What is, and that's another thing. I mean, they add these lists of banned substances to this list every year, and
Yeah.
they email them out. They make sure every trainer manager knows what's on the banned list, so there's no excuse for this. Oh boy, let's get the season
Yeah.
started. We're only 23 days away from
Right.
first pitch in the Braves uniform, so I think the Braves players are just saying, let's just get this thing started, man. Let's just get this thing started. Well, Wayne, right up your alley, man. Let's go from Major League Baseball to college basketball. It's March. March Madness is right around the corner. The Georgia Bulldogs had a big win at home Tuesday night, beating number 16 Alabama 98-88. It was an absolute shootout. They solidified their NCAA tournament status. How far can this Bulldogs team go? Wayne, I know you're a college basketball fan. You've probably seen the Dogs flipping through the channels a couple times this year. What do you think their maximum amount of wins in this NCAA tournament can be?
Uh, I see them as having a chance to get into the Sweet 16, but after that, I think the Cinderella card is taken away. As far as, and I hadn't really covered their record, so I can't tell you exactly what I think their record's going to be, but I think Sweet 16, and I don't think they win that game.
Yeah, I think it's going to be tough. I think the best shot blocking team in the land, averaging over 6.3 blocks per game exactly, averaging over 6 a game, obviously. They're the fourth best scoring offense in the land. They scored 98 Tuesday night, looked really good, lit the ball up from three. Cannon Catchings had a wonderful career night, 32 points on like 12 of 20 shooting. I think he was 7 of 13 from three land, so he just shot lights out in that category. Something around those numbers, but 32 points. He really lit it up. The guy can make any type of shot. You got a guy in Santos Surreal who can get down and dirty, get those offensive rebounds, put the ball back in the hole. He's one of the leading field goal percentage guys in the country. I think it's over 80% he's shooting, because most of those shots are boom right there, putbacks in the rim. But yeah, he has one of the highest field goal percentages in the country, and he's really good at getting that second chance point and put back off the rim. He does it at least twice a game for the Dogs. I think you're right, Wayne. I think 1, maybe 2 wins in this tournament would be a win for this program. Just to get 1 under their belt would be a huge step in the right direction. But this team they do have the ability to make a little Cinderella run to the Sweet 16. The problem is their seeding right now, Wayne.
Yeah.
They're seeding 8, 9. You know what that means?
Yeah. That means it's not really an upset if they win, and it's
not only that, and then you're playing the 1 seed most likely in the second round. So you're playing that Duke, that Arizona, that Michigan, that UConn, that Florida, maybe if they get up there. But
sometimes that's when the upsets happen, though. It's when you get a number 1 up against a low seed.
Absolutely. And speaking of upsets, Georgia's one of those teams that if they do make it past that first round and get into that second round, they're exciting to watch. They lead the country in dunks, so they play above the rim a lot. You see a lot of alley-oops, again, a lot of putback, thunderous jams, and it's fun to watch them. They spread the floor out. They run really fast. They get a lot of possessions per game. Again, the top 5 scoring offense in the country, average over 90 points per game. At one point, they were the leading scoring team in the country. So Mike White really has this team going in the right direction. They lost one of their best players to UConn and haven't really missed a beat. So back-to-back 20-plus win seasons for the Dogs for the first time in over 20 years. So this team's knocking on the door. They're in the right direction, and I think a maximum of 2 would be huge. But I am going to put their ceiling at 1 this year as an 8 or 9 seed. But here's the deal: they're playing hot right now.
Yep.
They end the season with Mississippi State, Wayne. If you get hot in that SEC tournament we've seen Georgia win the thing before in my lifetime out of absolutely nowhere. They had some tornadoes.
Auburn's done the same thing before. They'll come into the SEC tournament, really low seed, win that tournament, and then go really far in the big game.
Yeah. And that matters. I mean, we saw UConn do it with Kemba Walker, win the Big East tournament, win the whole darn thing. So these teams can improve their seeding. So right now, Georgia 8 or 9, which again would put you in that matchup with the 1 seed in the second round if you do advance. But if they can win 3 or 4 games and maybe get to the finals in this SEC tournament, that could really bump their seed up to maybe a 6 seed. And then you start talking about 2, maybe 3 wins and wearing some white uniforms even. So that'd be pretty cool to see in this dog. So how far can they go? Right now, I'm going to put the answer at 1 win. I think that's the maximum. But if they do, they increase their seed to a 7 or a 6.
Yeah.
Boy, you could see this team make some noise because they score with the best of them. They can protect the rim. And, they have guys that can put the ball in the hole multiple. They have 10 or 11 guys that they play each night. They got Dominique Wilkins' son, who's a high-flying freshman. So they got the talent to upset some teams. Just depends where they go in the bracket. So, Wayne, any final thoughts on the Georgia Bulldogs and where you think they might go?
No, I think that's we've cleaned that up pretty good. Although I think there's a chance they may get a lower seed than the 6, 7, or 8, 9. I think they may be headed for 10, 11 or something like that, which in some ways might be easier than a 6, 7,
Correct.
or 8, 9.
Correct. You get in that play-in game. You could get that 11-6 matchup. Anything can happen, man. Yeah. Anything can happen in March Madness. Especially now, we've seen 2, not 1, but 2 16 seeds win. So it is wide open. 15 seeds have been winning more often, especially the 14 seed. I think we've had more 14 seed upsets in the last 5-10 years than we have in the whole tournament prior. So been absolutely fun to watch the Bulldogs this year. High-flying team. Again, they call them the Dunkyard Dogs. Looking forward to seeing the Dunkyard Dogs in the first round of that tournament after that big win against Alabama Tuesday night. So let's go into our second topic of college basketball. It's way too early. We know that. But let's have some fun because it is March. The calendar's there. Let's have some fun. Give me your way too early Final Four, Wayne.
Well, right now, the way that the pot is being brewed, I would say that Michigan, Duke, Arizona, and UConn are the 4 favorites that I'm looking at. Of course, that's just be playing on the odds, too.
Yeah, no, and that's what this part is. It's all fun because this is probably going to change, but I guarantee you 2 or 3 of these teams are going to stick around in our bracket when we revisit this in less than 3 weeks when the tournament comes out, 2 weeks when the tournament brackets are out. And speaking of the tournament brackets, stay tuned, guys. We will have our tournament challenge yet again. We will have a $50 gift card up for grabs. I'm not sure where it will go this time. I'm thinking honey baked hams.
Chick-fil-A wouldn't be too bad either.
No, Chick-fil-A is not too bad either, but I was thinking honey baked ham. Get someone something for maybe the Easter season coming up.
Yeah, cool.
Something nice. So we will stay tuned. We'll tell you what the $50 gift card will be, and we'll tell you how to get involved with our tournament challenge. But my way too early Final Four, I have 3 of the same teams you did. Duke, UConn, Michigan. Those were the same, but I have the Florida Gators in that Final Four right now. Todd Golding, this Gators, they have a lot of tournament experience last year. They got that championship run. They got 4 or 5 players back from that championship run. They got the best front court in the country, led by Alex Condon. Great field goal percentage guy, gets it in low. Again, can shoot the mid-range game. Condon, really good rim protector, rebounder as well in moments. They are the best rebounding team in college basketball, 45-plus rebounds per game. That allows for those second, third, fourth chance points that come in handy in those March Madness tournaments. So I really like Florida, their ability to rebound, and just the sheer experience that they have, and they're playing their best ball right now in March. That's what you really want to see. So Florida's my difference. Let's talk about the commonalities of our list here. Duke, obviously, you got to put Duke on that list. Arguably the best player in the country, Carlos Boozer's son, Cameron, tearing it up in Cameron Indoor Arena. Say that a bunch of times fast. 28-2 overall record, 16-1 in ACC play. Their only loss, a buzzer beater. A buzzer beater. And they were blowing UNC out, so they mentally lapsed in that game, but a buzzer-beating three-pointer to lose to UNC. They're the third best defensive team in college basketball. They've only allowed around 62.5 points per game if you're getting technical. They average right around that 62 mark. So the Blue Devils can score with the best of them as well. Top 40 in offensive, in the offensive category as a team, 83 points per game. And they got the best points differential in the sport, plus 20.6. That includes a 44-point win over Notre Dame that helped a lot. But also, and guys, these were in consecutive order. So you got Syracuse to start the whole thing out, 37-point win. They beat number one Michigan by 2 or 3 points, 4 point, whatever it was. It was a close game. Then they get back on the grind. There comes the 44-point win versus Notre Dame. 44-point win over Notre Dame. Then they go 26-point win over number 11 Virginia. And then a 29-point win over a tournament-bound NC State team. They are just clicking on all cylinders right now. And by the way, again, all those games that I just mentioned in order. Yeah. So they are playing absolute baller status basketball right now. And again, you have 2 wins where you combine for 81 points of victory. It's just nuts, man. So Duke's right there, obviously. Fun to watch team too. They can really move the ball around. UConn, they can play defense, allowing only 65.2 points per game as well. Or close to what Duke is, or one of their top 12. I think they're 12th in that category in scoring defense. They move the ball around better than almost anybody in the country. They're top 20 in assists per game and over 18 in that category. They're tested out of conference. This is what I like to see with these UConns and the Big East. I want to see who they played outside of their conference, because their conference is tough enough, but they go outside of the conference and they lose against Arizona. They have wins against BYU, Florida, Kansas, Texas, Illinois, all tournament-bound teams. And I mentioned Florida, one of my Final Fours right now. So UConn has that experience. They had back-to-back national championships. Dan Hurley's a 2-timer already, fiery guy. So he's going to put his team in the right position to win. So I like the UConn Huskies there as well. Mentioned UConn, Florida, and Duke so far. And the last one we agreed on is Michigan. Also one of the best point differential teams in the land at plus 20.2. And they can block shots with the best of them in the country like Georgia can. 5.9 blocks per game. That's 5th in the country in that stat. And head coach Dusty May. He's got Final Four experience, Wayne. He took the Florida Atlantic Owls to the Final Four in 2023, so I really like Michigan. Those are my 4 way too early Final Fours. Don't lock them in because I know it's way too early. That's the fun of the segment, but I'm not going to be a negative Nancy and not answer the question and dodge around it. I'm going to give you an answer. And right now, those are the 4 best teams, in my opinion, in the country. You could throw Arizona in there, but I just think Florida, they're getting knocked for their losses early. But, boy, are they playing better than almost anybody in the country right now, too. So, and they took it to Georgia. They took it to the Bulldogs twice. They beat the Georgia Bulldogs 20-plus points each time. So, they've handled business in the SEC. UConn, again, the double national championship. What would it be cool, Wayne, if let's say Florida wins it again? You have back-to-back by UConn and then back-to-back by Florida. How unique would that be?
Yeah, especially when those two schools aren't necessarily considered blue blood. Although I think UConn probably has a better chance of it than Florida does, because both the men's and the women's program are pretty good up there in UConn.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It'd just be very, very interesting to see that happen. So those are my way too early Final Four, Wayne. We have three of the same, and the one we flip flop. You have Arizona. I
Yeah.
have Florida. I have absolutely no issues with your list. No honorable mentions in the Final Four because there's only four of them. But if I had to have one, Arizona would definitely be in there. Houston would be in there. I like the Iowa State Cyclones as well. Cyclones look pretty good. And yeah, I just can't wait for March Madness, Wayne. It's going to be an absolute blast. It always is. The buzzer beaters, the rim rattlers, the almosts. And man, it's just it's about that time of year. So here we go. Let's get to our final thought, Wayne. Why don't you kick us off, man?
Well, my final thought has to do with the upcoming spring season. I will be looking forward to outdoor sports, going to football games, possibly some dirt track races over in West Memphis, Arkansas. Baseball is outdoors. I'm looking forward to being outside for watching sports live instead of being in a FedEx Forum, which I think they've confused the refrigerator unit with the air conditioning system in that place because it's always frigid.
Well, my final thought is a somber one. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the Holtz family with the news of Lou Holtz passing. Coach Holtz was 89, coached the New York Jets in 1976, won 249 games at 6 different schools, including the 1988 national championship with the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Coach Holtz was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame in 2008. My heart is heavy right now. Actually got to meet Coach Holtz on the set of College Game Day in one of my first ever TV experiences with Mark May. It was a wonderful, wonderful experience. A great guy. He wasn't even on TV that day. He just came in to support and see the new College Football Hall of Fame. And that was, I believe, in 2014. So rest in peace, Coach Lou Holtz. Let's get physical, you know.
Yeah.
Absolute legend of a coach, legend of a man. And again, my thoughts and prayers go out to his surviving family, and especially Skip Holtz too. We all know Skip, football mind as well. So great show tonight, guys. That wraps it up for Wayne and Memphis. Larry, your PA voice of the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets tonight. Todd on the road to Charlotte. I'm JJ right here in Lilburn, Georgia. Thanks for watching ATL Prime Sports. If you like the content, give us a like, give us a thumbs up on the old YouTube, and leave us a review on Apple and Spotify. We'll see you next week. Get you one, folks.